Isaiah Thomas. If you asked me to name any 60th pick in NBA history, the only one I'd be able to is Isaiah Thomas. I won't lie, I stopped watching the draft after the first round. I don't sit around and hear a bunch of names I'll likely never hear again. But Isaiah Thomas was an amazing player against every odd. Anyone can point to his genetics, his small stature. Isaiah falls into the top 15 shortest NBA players ever at 5'9", average for the outside world. But on the basketball court, that's minuscule. But Isaiah was also one of those players that was always doubted. It wasn't until his college years that people really took notice of him. And you can guess by his draft stock that even that wasn't enough. I'll tell you right now that Isaiah's origin story doesn't even compare to Marcus, but it's interesting in its own ways. So for those wondering, yes, Isaiah was named after the Pistons legend Isaiah Thomas. It just takes the biblical spelling because that's the only way his mother would allow it. But apart from that, there wasn't much notable about his childhood. He was always the small kid, but he was always a great player to go along with it. He grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and attended Curtis Senior High School for 4 years before repeating his senior year at South Kent School in Connecticut since he needed better grades. Coming out of high school, Isaiah was a 3-star recruit with some offers here and there, but chose to commit to the University of Washington and go back home for his college years. Isaiah wore number 2 for the Huskies, the same number Nate Robinson wore when he went to school there. He played 3 years in college, being named first team All Pac-10 in all 3 years. In March of 2011, Isaiah hit an iconic game winner against Arizona for the Pac-10 championship, capping off a 28-point game that was sort of his big break. Think of it like Kemba's buzzer beater against Pittsburgh. It had a similar impact in the sense that it forced people to acknowledge him. At the end of the 10-11 season, Isaiah declared for the 2011 draft, where if you still haven't figured it out, he was picked with the final pick. Essentially a death sentence for his career. Guys picked that late are usually used for trade value or just dropped off the bat. However, the Kings, who were desperate at the time, held on to him and paired him with Tyreke Evans. He made an immediate impact, averaging 11, 4, and 3 on solid percentages. He was named All-Rookie Second Team and finished 7th in Rookie of the Year voting. In 2014, he became the shortest player in league history to record a triple-double with a 24, 11, and 10 game, and recorded 2 38-point games within 5 days of each other in January of the same year, which was then a career high. He also capped off that season averaging 26 and 3. He was immensely popular with Sacramento fans, but was traded after the 13-14 season to the Phoenix Suns. He missed 8 games due to an ankle injury, but played well for the team, earning an invite to the Skills Challenge, making him the shortest player to participate in the event. However, he was traded towards the end of the season to the Boston Celtics, where he came off the bench for the rest of the year. While his averages had dipped a bit in Phoenix, he played fantastic in Boston, averaging 19, 5, and 2 off the bench. But again, he missed a few games due to injury. Apart from that, he finished 2nd in 6th Man of the Year voting and had a great season. He started for Boston the next season and played all 82 games, becoming an All-Star reserve with averages of 22, 6, and 3. He's tied with Calvin Murphy as the shortest All-Star in NBA history. He led the Celtics to the playoffs where they took on the Atlanta Hawks in round 1, dropped a then career-high 42 points in Game 3 before getting bounced by Atlanta, losing the series 4-2. The next season, he again had minor injury trouble, missing 6 games over the course of the season. In December of 2016, he recorded 44, a new career high at the time, 36 of which came in the second half. Again in December, he beat his career high, nailing 52 points, 29 in the fourth quarter, a Celtics record, and one of many reasons us Celtics fans know him as King of the Fourth. He was yet again an All-Star reserve in the 2017 All-Star game and balled out for the rest of the season, averaging 29, 6, and 3, and breaking more records than we have time to go over. The day before the postseason began, Isaiah learned that his sister China died in a car accident. Celtics beat the Bulls 4-2 in the first round before Isaiah flew home to Washington to attend his sister's funeral. In Game 2 of the second round against the Wizards, Isaiah recorded a career-high 53, the second highest scoring playoff game by a Celtic, and I promise that's the last time I mention career high. Isaiah led Boston to the conference finals for the first time since 2012, beating the Wizards in 7 games. After the first 2 games against Cleveland, Isaiah was ruled out for the rest of the postseason with a hip injury, and the Celtics were eliminated shortly after. Much to my and every other Boston fan's dismay, Isaiah was later traded to the Cavs after finishing 5th in MVP voting the season prior. I After being traded to Cleveland, Cleveland's team staff learned he'd been playing with several problems in that injured hip, such as destroyed cartilage and arthritis for years at that point. He finally made his debut for them in January of 2018, averaging 15-5-2 as a low-minute starter, before getting traded to the Lakers in February. In late March, he was ruled out for the rest of the season after getting arthroscopic surgery on his hip to help remedy his more long-term problems. His career dwindled down in Denver and Washington over the next 2 seasons, where it was clear he wasn't the same MVP candidate Isaiah we'd seen in 2017. He was traded to the Clippers in 2020 and waived without playing a single game for them. He says he's used the time to fully recover from his hip problems, and he's currently working on an NBA return. And for all my Celtics fans out there wondering if we'll see him in green again, he confirmed on Twitter that he's tried, and it's pretty much out of the question at this point. Ouch. Regardless, it'd be great to see IT suit up again. I don't care who it's for, I just want to see him in the league again. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next video.